the one that I'm about to bring on isn't just a red indie creator. She also is somebody that I've known for 25 years, 26 years, a long time. And just in time, we have the largest crowd of the night in here. But we went to high school together. We sang together in choir and in show choir. Our senior year, I don't know if you remember, but our theme for our like senior year, end of year concert was Hairspray. And we were dance partners together for that as well. Lots of history, lots of just knowledge of each other. She was the best woman in my wedding. I didn't have a best man. I had this friend of mine. She has started painting. She has started selling her paintings, and she is doing all sorts of rad art on Twine. I Man, listen, Eric, if we're that old, just imagine how old that makes you, okay? Welcome.
Actually, hi.
We figured it out. No issues joining, which is slick. I changed the button that I was going to wear um, because the other one like had some negativity attached to it. But this one, I don't know if you remember
Oh,
this one.
goodness gracious.
I
I
don't.
cannot believe you still have that.
Why am I like this? I have no idea. But here we are. That time that you worked at the Bob Evans, I don't even think it's there anymore in Eastgate. I think it's gone.
I don't know if it is or not, but it was my only waitress job, and I was terrible at it. So, I mean, that is not my calling. I was awful.
That's
So,
fine. That's totally fine. What is your calling though is making super awesome paintings as I adjust up for the half. And like I love you're a little pixelated right now, if I'm being honest with you, but that's okay because I saw it before. I totally had a spoiler, but I love what you've done with my logo.
I know. It's pretty cool, huh?
It is pretty cool.
Happy early birthday. Number one fan.
Thanks. And the shirt, come on. I got the notification that I sold a shirt in my merch shop, which anybody can go to and buy at any point in time. They might have a sale going on right now. I don't know. But you can absolutely be as cool as she is and buy a long box monk shirt if you wanna. It comes in all colors. You can get a writing pad, a notebook. You can get a bath shower curtain, whatever. It's all there to go have yourself a day and treat yourself. But enough about me and the shameless plugs. Eric, I'm glad that it is still there. See, Katie, if you just wore like a red polo and like black, basically your old Kmart uniform.
I had like a whole uniform for several years of my life, red, black.
Yeah, perfect. I'll just give you your name tag back and you can just show up and start waiting on people.
They won't appreciate it. I spilt more drinks on people than actually gave them. So they immediately, I was like, I'm just gonna go ahead and fire myself.
You know what? I'm fired. I'll take care of it.
I'm not good at it.
So you're not here because of your waitressing skills. You're here because of all of the rad paintings that you're doing. So for those that aren't me and know everything that you've had going on, tell me about Art on Twine. What started this for you? Like, how did you, has art's always been a thing for you, right?
Yeah, so I mean, all through high school, even when I was younger, I've always done art, but normally it was to give to friends and family, just to make my own art for my house. But now I'm like doing it on more of a professional level. So I a friend of mine told me one day, she goes, "Why don't you get your stuff on Etsy?" And I was like, "Okay, I'll try it out. And why don't you start marketing it on social media?" Well, as Chris has witnessed in the past probably 48 hours, I'm like the worst with social media. I mean, we had to do a run through just so I could make sure that I knew how to log on to the live. It's that bad. So anyway, so I was like, I just want to sign up for shows because I'm more of a people. I want to like meet people and show them what I have, and then I like to see the look on their face when have something that resonates with them. So yeah, so I've been doing that for it'll be 2 years actually, in April. So yeah, it's pretty exciting stuff.
That's awesome. And the all the stuff that you're painting, like, are you doing? Do you have like a specialty?
Um, Not really. I mean, so when I went to photography school too, and when I went there, I wanted to focus on portraiture, and so all of a sudden, so I started doing watercolor portraits, which I'd never really seen before. So that's how that was something that was unique, and is kind of like a my niche, I guess I should say, but. I mean, really, anything that is, if somebody says to me, "Hey, I want you to paint this house of mine," where, it means a lot to me, it was my grandma's house or something with the family, I feel like I connect with that. And then and that to me is probably my best work, is when it's something personal. Like even this thing back here, I was like, oh my gosh. I mean, I was so excited to do it because I know how much it means to you. So yeah, I would say that.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah, and I would be remiss if we didn't mention this now. There's gonna be a giveaway at some point during this chat where you can win yourself a free 8x10. So it's worth hanging out and like not dropping. So yeah, all the engagement, whatever. You're gonna have to comment a secret word at some point, and then we're all gonna Pee Wee Herman when the secret word gets mentioned, and then there's gonna be a giveaway. So that's how that's gonna work, but that's not right now. I'm just letting anybody know if you didn't see our stories earlier today. That's coming. So you're doing like the markets, and you're showing up and talking to you're schmoozing the people, and you're wheeling and dealing all your artwork. Is it like, are you painting a lot of stuff and then bringing it to the shows and selling it, or are you like getting commissioned where people are like, hey, I like your style, will you paint me my nana's house, uh or whatever, like?
Yeah. So the very beginning, so when my friend Megan was like, okay, if you want to, go sign up for shows. So I did. And the first one I got in was the Westwood Art Show on the west side of Cincinnati. I was so nervous and super neurotic. Everybody around me was like, okay, Katie, this is supposed to be enjoyable. But when it was done, it was like, wow, it didn't feel like work. I had painted, so with watercolor you can't really replicate it
Right.
unless you do prints. So my very first show was all original pieces, and there were probably about 70 of them, which takes time. So watercolor is one of the most difficult. I've done acrylic, I've done oil, I've done pastel, I've done it all, but watercolor is challenging to it just takes a while. So when I went there, this guy came up to the booth, and I saw him talking to Megan, and Megan was trying to get my attention. I said, hi, my name's Katie. He goes, hi. He goes, I had to come here. I had to meet you. I follow you on Instagram. And I was like, what? I was like, I have like a follower and I don't even really know how to do Instagram. I mean, it was ridiculous. I mean, and he's very, very sweet, and his work is phenomenal too. So, it was connecting with the artists. And then uh, really from there, like getting to know other art communities, um, and then doing those commissioned pieces for people who saw things at the show and said, "Hey, I like this, but do you think that you could do this for me?" So making those connections. And then I said to myself, my whole business plan was, once I'm done with that first show, I'm either gonna buy a new printer, like buy a printer to make prints, or buy a new camera. Um, and so I bought a printer, and I was able to make prints. I was able to make greeting cards. And so my next show was actually the one that Eric Plummer was at.
Just start
And
calling him
that,
Eric.
yeah, shout out. P. Gloss Plummer. Never gets old. Um, so, yeah, and I sold a bunch of these greeting cards, and I think it was because I knew the demographic. I knew it was going to be a Sunday crowd where people were probably going to want to buy, greeting cards. Because I'm going to be real honest with you, I'm terrible at cards. Like I'll be like, I don't need to spend the money on cards,
Yeah.
But then I'm like, maybe I should be a better card supporter now. I should be like go cards. But so long story short, I did that, and then I started really joining a lot of communities, and that is how I got connected with this group called Purple Paisley. They're in Covington on Scott Street, and I just went live there with my shop. So I have a 4-foot wall there in their artisan shop. Very, very, very exciting stuff. So yeah, so that and the show is right now.
That's awesome. How long does that show last? Because I definitely want to go and show up and be like, I know her.
Which one? Which one are you talking? Well, so I have the shows I have so far this year. So the Purple Paisley is up 24/7. So that shop, it's you can go in, you can shop. There's 70. I'm the 76th artist. So when I went in, I
Jeez.
said, "There's 75 artists that display their stuff here." She said, "Yeah." She's like, "You want to be 76?" I said, "Well, duh." Like, I mean, they have potters, they have people who make jewelry. They have artists, or authors rather. I know they have a book reading Saturday. Every Saturday they have events, and she wants me to teach a class. So I'm going to work on that. I might do like a demo class because, I mean, I can do that better than I can Instagram, though. So the chances are better. But my next show in person is going to be in Anderson. It's in September. That one is local. It's a Fair of the Arts on the 20th of September, and then I have a farther away one in Augusta, Kentucky. It's Art in the Garden, hosted by the Augusta Art Guild, and that's on June 7th.
That's awesome. How are you finding couple things? How are you finding these shows and like submitting to them?
Yeah, so there's a vendor, Cincinnati or Ohio or Kentucky vendor site on Facebook and on Instagram that you can join. And we just share events that are in the area that we've heard of. And then honestly, my friends and family. So I mean, it's constant. They're like, "Hey, did you see this show? Did you see this upcoming show?" Which is really cool. I mean, they've been really really stupid supportive. Sometimes I'm like, wow. I mean, I don't know. It's just nuts. I'm like, I guess they like me a little. I'm like, it's not that bad. Um, but yeah, so that is how social media. Oddly enough, even though I'm terrible at it, I that's how I'm getting my connections.
That's great. I
I
mean,
have
like,
you to help me with the social media.
yeah. We'll teach you all the things and all of the tricks. We'll get there. So one of the things that comes up frequently, even with like the comic creators, is the community and like helping each other out. Like, have you found at those shows that there are other creators or artists that you're connecting with that you're like staying in touch with, and are you building a community that way too?
Yeah, honestly, so that guy that came out to see me, he was the one who was like, "Hey," he's like, "This is really cool. I've never even had, an actual show before. I never signed up and did this." And he goes, "I've been following your stuff, and I'm really impressed that you were just like, ripped the Band-Aid off and went right in for it." And I'm like, "Well," I said, You post things on social media. You're part of these groups. I'm I try to be good about it, but I'm just not as good. But then so he was like, okay, well they have these different events where they'll go to this park and they'll draw and paint and sketch, and they kind of learn from one another. And so I joined that group, which spun me to other people who are doing that. And then this whole Purple Paisley thing. I mean, it's 75 other artists that I get immediately connected with. I mean, yeah, I mean, it really is like the people and the people who, want to see each other succeed. So, which has been very cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it's always great to have like find those supportive people and realize that like even though you're all making art for people's enjoyment, like you're also there to support each other too. And like that's one of those, it doesn't matter what medium you're in, whether it's my usual comic book stuff or like paintings or whatever, like there's always going to be that through line in like and with the indie people that aren't just giant corporations that are churning stuff out to sell at Garden Ridge or whatever.
I know. Now let's hope that. I mean, if is Garden Ridge still
No,
open? God,
no,
how old are you?
they right, they
Yeah.
got bought out and are now at home, but
Oh
it's
yeah.
the exact same layout, it's the exact same stuff, it's just a blue instead of orange. um yeah, so that's there's that. So like what's your process like as you're painting? Because I know, like, having tried to do watercolors, I'm like, I don't I this isn't okay. So clearly that's not the end result for you. Like, how long does it take you to make like an average like portrait painting?
Yes. So I'll kind of lead with this. My very first painting watercolor was actually on a girls' weekend. We got a cheap painting palette, and that's kind of when I started becoming obsessed. Slash, I got frustrated first, and then I was like, I have to figure this out. And so, um, and when I finally did, I was like, okay, well, I need to get quality product first. So I did. The very first thing I made, it, it varied. So it was either something beautiful, and small and teeny, or something beautiful with like the F word on it written down. So it was like a I had a I had like a process, but it was more of like an emotional thing with that. So, but then I was like, okay, I was like, I got like the the basics down, and and now obviously I'm a little bit faster. I would say my biggest portraiture that I did was this warrior woman, and that took me, I would say, every bit of 40 hours. Every
Jeez.
bit of it. Yeah, because it was my first big portrait. I've done smaller ones since, and they'll probably take me about, I don't know, I'd say probably 15-ish hours. So, but yeah, it takes some time.
Is that like, is it all just the layering of colors?
Yeah,
Like lit,
so
wash, dry?
yeah, it's like you kind of you have to like wet the paper and kind of see how it's going to disperse. And then you kind of dry it, and then you kind of have to wait for it to sit, or I blow dry it because let's be honest, I'm impatient. But so and then I'm like, okay, does that look good? Like the main thing, the struggle for me with watercolor and portraiture, even like I do like different animals. Like right now I'm working on an owl, is the eyeballs. 9 times out of 10, I'll finish the eyes and I'm like, it looks pissed. It's so pissed off. And I'm trying to make it look like sweet and whimsical and it looks like demonic. So, so anyway, and I just have to walk away for a while and like maybe revisit it like later on that week. Cause if not, it just gets more and more mad. And then suddenly it's going to have the words Fuck on it. Like
Yeah,
that's
perfect.
so what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, but like with watercolor, can't you, like, you can erase it, but can't you like just get your brush wet and like rework the paint?
So you can, but then when you do that too much, it's hard because once you're done with it, the paper, no matter how expensive, how fine quality you get, it will get wrinkly. And then I
Yeah.
have to, now I do it anyway. I iron the pieces when they're done, which is a process. And I don't even iron my clothes. I'm ironing these paintings. I'm like, at least I've got this for my art. But yeah, and so that if you can, but then it just takes longer to get it to flatten out later on. So, which I've done before. I mean, it'll work. It's just more work on the other end of it. So,
Yeah. That's great. Do you have like a favorite or like a dream thing that you want to paint at some point that you just don't feel comfortable yet painting?
Oh, that is a really good question. Um, so recently I've started doing things that involve water, which this is so funny because I'm working with water, right? You think like,
Yeah.
oh, water should be easy because you're working with water. Um, I cannot for the life of me get down raindrops. Okay. And if you've ever
Mm.
seen watercolor paint, like paintings that have raindrops in them, it is so cool. So that in itself, but there was one that I saw one time and it was like you were inside of a car with like windshield wipers and like you could like you looked at it and you felt like it was in action. So I want to try and get to the point where I can paint watercolor in action. So like whether
Mm.
that's storms or that's waterfalls or whatever that is. Um, I mean, I would like to do that. So not necessarily a place, but a thing.
A thing. And um, I've seen a bunch of reels that are, and I know that that's a dangerous thing to say and start off with, but because I watch so many process videos of artists either like drawing something or inking a page or coloring or like creating something digitally or starting to see more acrylic painting or like watercolor painting, but then they'll go back in with like colored pencils. Do you ever use colored pencils with the watercolors, and like how does that work?
Yeah, so they have there's a couple of different things. They have like watercolor pencils. So it's like a pencil that is actual like dried watercolor you can use.
Oh.
Um, I'll use those when I do fine detail, like on buildings and stuff, to get like straight lines. Um, and then pen wise, there are times that I will use ink pen, especially if I'm doing like a black and white portraiture to get like some fine points. But yeah, I mean, there are so many things out there that are available, but it's like some artists are like, oh, well, if you use that, then you're taking the easy route, or I don't know. And I'm like, okay, well, so okay. I mean, I've tried it both ways. It works, the same, but yeah, it just depends on how comfortable you are. I mean, I will say like I'm more comfortable just using the actual watercolor than I am with the pen or the pencil or whatnot
Mm.
for whatever reason. I don't know why, but yeah, but I've used them. They're good. They're all right. Yeah.
That's your that's your, what did we say that your nickname was? You're peacefully rebellious.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, peacefully rebellious.
Yeah, that's what it is. That's coming to life.
It's like, whatever. I'm not using
Free
your
spirit.
pen. Uh,
And also, like, shame on whoever the hell told you, like, oh, that's like, okay, buddy, get off your high horse. Like, we're creating art for art's sake. Stop being a gatekeeper, a terrible person, whatever.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm because you'll get on these different tutorials and people will be like, so I'm on this one where you post a photo a day that you're working on and kind of it's an artist community that's supposed to support each other, right?
Yeah.
But people are people, you always got that one asshole in the group. So just like, yeah, I know. It's like, okay, buddy. I don't know. I'm like, I'm doing it mainly. I'm not doing it because I'm like, trying to be some type of an elitist. I'm doing
Yeah.
it because it started and still is incredibly therapeutic to me. I mean, I have a job that is legitimately, I mean, if I have a good week, it's 60 hours a week and I get paid for 40. I have a
Yeah.
job where I have to make people follow the rules, which nobody saw coming. No one. So this for me is like I need to have something I enjoy and don't feel like I'm gonna go crazy. So,
Yeah. Yeah, we've also gotten a handful of really helpful comments.
oh God.
Anybody that wants to gatekeep you, just to let them know that your high school English teacher said that if it's the easy route that gets you where you want to go, take that route. Um, Vaughn with the only easy route is AI, which is why it's the wrong route. You're very anti-AI here.
Yeah.
So if you like it, just end the stream now. You're not going to like anything I have to say. Jillian said to each their own, which I completely agree with. And she also, having done the artist route, would understand
Yeah.
the process and all that. And then my collaborator, Chris, is like the process and the product, not the tool. Art is more than the tool by so much. And I completely agree.
Yeah.
So, speaking of comments, you want to give something away?
Yes, let's do it.
Cool.
All right, so the thing is, what we're going to do is it's going to be an 8x10 commissioned piece. Um, so Chris is going to go through the hows and whatnot, and then we're going to pick a winner.
You can call me UPS because I'm a fan of logistics. Here's what we're going to do. A of all, this is the first giveaway I've ever done on a box talk, so this is exciting. I feel so much energy right now. I wish I had a giant like spinning wheel, but I don't. I have a blank piece of paper. So to make my life easier, if you want to be entered, just comment art in the chat. Drop that, and we will get you entered. I can't believe you're doing like a commissioned 8x10. I thought you were just gonna like, hey, here's a beautiful flower that I like. Like, no, you're like, no, let's just go all the way.
No, so the last one I did like this, I said, all right, we're going to do a commission piece. And basically, whoever the winner is will reach out to me and give me kind of a theme of what they're wanting. And, I mean, if you're, and honestly, like I said before, those are the easy pieces for me because if it's meaningful to you, then it's going to turn out really well. Like it makes me it it brings me joy. Like it's one of the things that I enjoy doing. People are always like, I can't believe you do so many commissions. Doesn't that stress you out? And I'm like, I mean, yes, because the pressure is on. It's like this person has envisioned this is what they want. But I mean, I had to do this commission piece the other week for somebody who wanted a mid-century modern Christmas tree that their wife got. Anyway, it was way, way, way like I've never painted anything like it in my life, but he kept talking about how much his wife would love it. And that is what kind of, made me focus. And I get those done quicker because I'm excited for them to get it, and it's exciting for them. So.
Yep. Yep. Just to recap, because there's a couple more viewers now than there are comments. If you want in on a free 8x10 commission piece from Katie of Art of Wine, comment art in the comments.
A
And we'll cut it
thousand
off.
raindrops. I'm dying.
Yeah. Of course, Vaughn said that. Like he's always in these comments. He's the reason that I call my previous guests post punks. It was all his idea. Because I was like, I need something catchy to call him, and he was the one. So super rad dude, and I can't wait to get my face murdered by his book when it comes. So if you want a free commission 8x10, comment art in the comments, and we will cut it off in just another little bit. I'm drinking really trashy, cheap beer in honor of you tonight.
Oh.
So I just want you to know that.
What is it? Is it Budweiser?
That sounds really awful.
I know. I don't know why. Yours is too. Maybe I'm telling you right now, I'm living in like is it Budweiser?
It's Bud Light, yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
That brings it back to the East End days, people. The East End was that Coors Light back then? Who knows? It was whatever we could get for cheap.
It was whatever we could get for cheap. On the $2 beer night, it was PBR or Honey Brown, and Honey Brown was my gateway into good beer. So
it was.
Okay, so like I understand, I don't buy this for the record. I don't do any of that, but I was at a wedding back when I was doing weddings because I don't do those anymore.
Me either.
Because of the show. This is just more enjoyable, and I don't get paid anything. But here we are. I'm making really good choices with my money. But
neither one of us do weddings anymore,
Yeah. No, you don't photograph. That's the word. You don't photographer them.
No, I did hair for somebody a couple of weeks ago. I just don't do weddings myself,
Yeah.
Jake, but it's all right. Go on. Sorry.
So I the father of the bride at one of the weddings I did, um, they had so much beer that he was like, "Chris, you want some beer, right?" And I was like, yeah, yeah, I do." And so he gave a case of Bud Light to me and a buddy of mine. And so every night that we would drink our Bud Light afterwards, we're like, "We're drinking Don's beer," and sending pictures to each other. Um, so, all right. So we've got a whole lot of pixelation happening right now.
I know.
Uh,
They
there's
said you're pixelated. I'm like,
there's
I don't know.
explicit content over here, so it's pixelated for their safety. But I need you to pick a number.
Okay.
Let's do pick a number 1 through 6.
Okay. Let's go with 5.
1, 2, 3. Oh
Is it 1,000 raindrops?
no! Vaughn was 5. My buddy and collaborator Chris is number 5. Wait, what'd you say? You said 5.
Yeah,
What?
5.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, yeah, it's Chris. Okay, yep. Yeah, Chris is number 5. So I'll make sure that he gets a hold of you. I think he's already. No, that's my sister. Never mind. As I said, I think he's already following you because he texted me a reel, but that was one of Jillian's reels. So, Chris, you'll be getting more stuff from Ohio sent to you.
Yeah.
um, those were all the notes that I had. But I at least have to ask you. Oh, before I forget, Swamp Water posted a update like 2 hours ago and said that the restaurant is open. It's just the antique mall that's closed. So we're still good to go to Swamp Water next Saturday for my birthday. So
Yeah.
there's that. I'm
Sweet.
excited that it's not Allen's. Honestly, I know you like their Mardi Gras pasta or whatever, but like I'm excited to go to Swamp Water. So okay. The other thing is we have to talk music, and I know you're gonna be like, "Yeah, I just listen to Jewel while I paint,"
Whatever.
but like, do you just listen to Jewel while you paint? Like, or do you listen to music while you paint?
Oh, yeah. 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 It's funny because I will go on my Apple Music and I'll just say, okay, send, like, just, play whatever theme. Okay. Like that I'm feeling. And I have started listening to and learning more about other musicians than ever before because of that. But I would say here lately, I listened to a mix of Bob Dylan, Tyler Childers, Dave Matthews, and Stevie Nicks. And who was the other one? Old Crow. That has been kind of my like recent jam. But some nights I get into this weird thing where I'm like, I'm gonna listen to some old country and just like go down this really just bad but fun. Like I'm in there like Shania Twain and like Dina Carter. It's not. It just depends on my mood, and what I'm painting.
When you're
This
when
one
you're at
here, it was like all like Blink 182, um, Modest Mouse. Like it was like
yeah,
like old school shit.
yeah, I like that. That's old school. Like, come on, that's.
Oh, right.
I mean, I know it was like 20 years ago, but like,
They're coming in concert. I feel like I saw that.
they are. I already have tickets.
Of course you do.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll be in the lawn because if you want a seat at Riverbend, the cheapest tickets were $170 a piece. I was like,
That's insane.
in 2003, I saw Blink-182 in the third row with the used and Taking Back Sunday, and I paid $45 for those tickets.
See, I don't know. I can't get that. But you know what? I'm not mad at them
Good for
because,
them.
I mean, good for them.
Bob Dylan, CCR, and Bruce Springsteen have all saved my life like the Holy Trinity. So
Did you see
there
the
you
new
go.
Bob Dylan movie? God, it was good. He did so well.
I have not seen it.
Oh,
I haven't seen any of the biopics though. I haven't seen like the Elvis or the Queen one, like none of them.
I saw it on Christmas with my dad. It was so good. If you haven't heard the song for Woody by Bob Dylan, it is like he sings it so well, but that is one of my faves. You would love it.
Okay, all right. And by Old Crow, because The plumber is confused.
Oh, Pro Medicine Show?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's what I thought. All right.
Yeah, not the
Okay.
bourbon.
Did you know?
Although the bourbon is
Um,
good, and sometimes the bourbon is drank while doing the art. Yeah, occasionally.
gross.
Occasionally.
I can't say anything. I'm drinking Bud Light.
Yeah, pick up.
Hey, it's Don's final beer. This beer has lasted in my fridge in the basement here for like a year and a half. Okay.
This is commitment. And you know what? Free beer is good beer.
Free beer is good beer. Somewhere I have they had a photo booth. And so Ben and Don and I took a little picture like with Don's beer. I'll find that and post it to my stories because it's very funny. Um, that's really not good. Every time I take a drink, I'm like, why am I drinking this? But that's all right. It's not about.
Remember when I used to peel the label off of it and stick it on the bar?
I still peel the corner of all the labels off and then restick it folded so that it's clearly my drink.
Yeah, you do. And you flip the tab up on your beer, like the.
Oh, on the cans, I turn it sideways.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
That started at theater parties, drinking Mountain Dews. And because so many people had Mountain Dew that I had to turn the tab thing. Yeah. And now, 20 whatever years later, I can't drink anything out of a can with the tab straight because it sits a certain way. And I'm like, there it is. Yeah. And I got to have this, you know?
Real rager at those theater parties, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Listen, I was digging through pictures trying to find a specific one from us in the auditorium parking lot after a show choir weekend that we had. I didn't find it physically, but I found a ton of pictures from the old theater parties and stuff. I was like, why do I still have these pictures?
Because it's funny. It's like the same reason I have all these yearbooks back here. I'm like, oh, you know who that is? I'm like, I'm going to go look. It's like, you could stalk this person on Facebook, but no, you're going to go in here.
I found a picture of you and Benny from one of our show choir competitions. It's too dark, but I know exactly. And there's one of you and Sarah in the display cases where you two climbed into it and we shut the glass.
Oh my gosh.
I have
was that Walking Panetta?
But the reflection's too bad. You can't see either of you.
Oh my God.
So but I found them. I know exactly where they are now. So at some point I need to organize those just like I've organized my like digital pictures to actually be like, here's high school stuff, here's Bell pictures, here's no, they're just all mixed in.
Mixed together.
Yeah. Real blackmail material though. But congrats to Chris for winning the commissioned 8x10.
Yeah, good work. Very exciting.
Because you've got the music tastes in common. So that's exciting. And then also I agree PBR is better than Bud Light. I'm not complaining about cheap beer. It's just bad beer. And then listen, Eric, I don't have any of you. I have one of Senior though.
You know what though? I have it burned into my memory, the two of you playing that game where he rolled off the chapstick and smashed it on his face.
The cracker game?
Oh, he was forever P. Gloss Lummer.
Yeah. Yeah. So for those that don't know, and this is the fun of having like long history people on the show, we didn't do much in our English classes. And another thing before I get to the game that I love doing, remember how we had to read and then like journal about it, and then he would read our journals and reply to us? Mm-hmm. I used to do this thing where I would write backwards, but not,
yeah, I know, I remember that.
Not the letters. The letters were still properly directed, but the words, the order of them was all backwards. And so I wrote an entire journal entry that way, just because that's who I was. And Plumber, by God, he responded writing backwards and specifically said, "This is incredibly hard to do. I don't know why you're making me do this."
I remember that.
I read Lord of the Rings the entire senior year because it was like 1,400 pages. I was like, I'm reading one book all year.
Sarah Pop made that thing about her ham turd, her hamster that ran away. I'll never forget that story. I found it riveting. I was like, you should honestly publish this.
This should be in some sort of local newspaper or something. Yeah. I also wrote in a circle and then he responded by writing in a square.
I do remember that.
He's shot for shot, that plumber, you know. Um, I don't remember what I was. Oh, so the game. So we played this game because why would you learn in English class when you can play a game where you're trying to make the other team laugh? And so we broke into two teams and we stood in a line like military style. And um, the first, I have no shame. That's well documented. And so the other team is standing in their line facing me, and I'm looking at everybody else on my team, and I'm like, it's me or John Thompson.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And so I literally just turned around and bent over and said, "This is a butt," and like half of the row started laughing.
I was out. I was like, done.
And I just went into an anatomy. You have a certain amount of something like 30 seconds or something to try and get those other teammates to like, you had 30 seconds to make them laugh, and then the other team had a chance to go, and you continue switching back and forth until there's only one person left standing. Well, it got to a point where it was just John Thompson and I, and we decimated everybody on the other team. And then Plumber got angry because we just wouldn't break, which also, like, we were theater kids. So, but instead of like letting us get away with this, Plumber steps up to us, gets real close, and says, "Gentlemen, this is my chapstick." And proceeds to then smash it all over his face. And that's what got both of us to break. And that's when we started calling him Pea Gloss Lumber. And that's the story from our high school. So, so glad that we were able to share that with everybody. I don't remember the name of that game. I feel like the Cracker game was something that we did at show choir camp.
Was it Red Rover? I don't know. I can't remember. I only remember that part. It's historic.
Yeah, that's what it was, though. That's what it was. So, anyway, okay. So I always end. See, I'm just like, let's just talk. Let's just kick back and talk for the next 4 hours.
It's already late. Eric was like, "What the is up with the time?" I'm like, "Chris is a late person. I'm on PTO this week, thank goodness, because everyone knows I'd be back."
See, when I mentioned it to Rachel, she was like, "Isn't that past her bedtime?"
Everybody knows. Everyone. I was like, "Get crazy! I'm staying up until 9."
Oh yeah. See, I'm regularly up until like 1 a.m. and it's fine. That's a good night. Is if I go to bed at 1. But so every time I have somebody on either my show or trying to be better about remembering to do it when I have guests on here as well, is I like talking to people that are creatives and indie hearted and indie spirited, because everybody has different backgrounds and different experiences that led them to this moment. As a result, I'm going to stop talking. And if there's anything that you want anybody that's watching this now or later, because I'm going to post this to my YouTube, I'm going to rip the audio and that's going to go out as well. So you're getting all the coverage. But if there's anything that you want people to hear from you or about your perspective, it could be a sales pitch of like, follow me and buy all my stuff. It could be, I don't know, go paint your dog's face on some, like, whatever the content is, doesn't matter. It's whatever you want people to hear from you. I want you to have a space to be able to share whatever that is.
Yeah. So never in a million years would I've thought that I would have taken this to the at the level it's at right now. But I just I just always encourage people to surround yourself with the people that encourage you to do these things, and then are your biggest cheerleaders. Because I look at my art and I was like, I'm not good enough. Nobody's going to buy this. And the first painting I did, I sold rather at this art show, was one that I messed it up, and then I just like made it into like a caricature, which was the first one I bought. And this person paid $85 for this painting, and I was like, what? So really, you're going to be your own worst critic. Surround yourself by people who tell you otherwise and fight with you on it, because I'll be like, I'm not bringing that. And Megan and everybody will be, that's not in your junk pile. Like, you're taking it. Like, I had a junk pile like this tall, and then he's like, this is not junk. This is not junk. And I'm like, it's people like that. Like, I get frustrated, but then I appreciate. So I would say that. Obviously, you know who I am. You can follow me and buy my stuff. But I just like to collaborate with other artists and meet new people. So, and honestly, this kind of I was seeing some of the stuff you were showing earlier from some of the comics, and I'm like, I wonder if I could do comic art. Hey.
Yeah. I mean, we can, let's make a comic.
Oh my God, that's great. Yes. I love that you still have the name tag on.
Yeah, I'm not gonna take it off midstream. I started it with it on. I'm gonna leave it on.
We're the coolest people we know.
Right, obviously. Somewhere on my tape. Oh, here it is. I almost wore this one, but I was
Uh,
like, no, this is positive vibes, not.
Positive
I,
vibes. Yeah.
I don't want this vibe, and so I still brought it up. But the super important question that you received in the chat: do you wear overalls when you paint? Like
That's so
specifically the
good.
white ones, like in the movies?
So all of my art shows, I have I wear canvas like overalls, like different ones, like that I get at different art shows. I'll see them, and it's kind of like my shtick. Um, Not all the time do I wear overalls when I paint, but I've like jean ones. I'll wear jean ones when I'm painting because they can wash off. Like canvas ones, will they'll stain. But yes.
You don't want to stained up like history of your work on a canvas.
I know. I did when I was doing acrylics, but yeah, I haven't done that with watercolor. And normally I'm not even gonna lie, I get home from work and I'm like, I've been in heels and dress clothes all day, and I'm like, I'm getting myself in some sweatpants and like a holey sweatshirt, and I'm just gonna, so it's not like this is like some type of scene from Ghost where I'm like some like you know what I mean? It's not, I'm not painting that picture, but it's I'll
Fair,
be here all night, but
fair.
won't be because it's past my bedtime.
Right. Too late. Too late. So we have a bunch of people that are encouraging us to make a comic. So I guess we're making a comic now. So that's happening. We'll talk about that when we eat Cajun next weekend. Thanks for figuring out social media enough to hang out with me and staying up like 6 hours past your bedtime.
Thank you for having me. I adore you. You're the best and you know it.
I appreciate it. That was not a shameless fishing attempt at all. Just that he is aware of that. But that's gonna be it for this edition of Backstock special edition with Art on Twine, the best woman that I know. KT, thanks for hanging out with me. This has been a blast, and we will talk soon. For everybody that sounded off in the chat, especially Plumber, it's great to see you in the chat, my man. I do this every Wednesday at 9 p.m. I know it's probably past your bedtime too. But you should still come and hang out. Glad to see you pop in. You're a very welcome face. And if you talk to Jake, tell him that he's a dick for ignoring me at opening day last year, because he totally did. So anyway,
Awkward.
every podcast has a tagline, and this one's mine. Go do what's good for you, punks, and read some indie comics because we are out of here.
Bye.
Bye.